In Deer Valley, Utah, A-list celebrity Gwyneth Paltrow will be on trial on Court TV next week in a he said, she said case involving a skiing accident. Gwyneth is being sued by an optometrist who says she crashed into him, causing serious injuries, while Gwyneth says she is the victim. Who will the jury believe?
Brain felt like I'd been injected with Novocaine. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just numb. Nothing was making sense.
In Newport News, Virginia, a 6-year-old brought a gun to school and shot his teacher. She survived, and now prosecutors say there will be no charges against the child. Tonight, we're asking, should anyone else be charged?
I don't know what was going through that child's mind. He's 6 years old. He displayed a firearm, he pointed it, and he fired one round.
On the docket tonight in Manatee County, Florida, the Black Swan murder trial. Former ballerina Ashley Benefield accused her husband Doug of trying to poison her and their new baby. Then they fought for custody of their child. Then Ashley shot and killed Doug, claiming self-defense. We have a preview of this upcoming trial on Court TV. In tonight's Tank Takes, a man gets in trouble with the law for hammering a shark's head. But tonight we're asking, is this cruelty or self-defense? Get ready. This hour of closing arguments starts right now. I'm Benny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Closing Arguments. We have a big hour in store, so let's get right to it. And we begin with a case that is scheduled to begin next week. Gwyneth Paltrow inside a courtroom in Utah. This case is about what happened on the slopes of Deer Valley. So it's a case where there was a collision between Gwyneth and an optometrist. The question is, who hit who, and who will be held responsible for what happened? Ted Rowlands, Court TV anchor, has the story for us tonight.
Deer Valley Resort is located in Park City, Utah. Its breathtaking views, spas, and mountainside restaurants are a draw for visitors looking for the ultimate getaway. It was a ski destination for Gwyneth Paltrow, the A-list actress whose movie credits include Shakespeare in Love.
Who is she? Dream on, Will.
I heard you were a poet.
I was a poet till now.
And Iron Man.
I'm sorry I'm late. What is that? You're wearing this in the house now?
On February 26, 2016, Paltrow, who was on vacation with her family, was involved in a ski accident at Deer Valley that is now the basis of a multi-million-dollar lawsuit. Retired optometrist Dr. Terry Sanderson spoke at a 2019 press conference and described the moment that he says he heard a hysterical scream just before Gwyneth Paltrow allegedly crashed into him on the beginner run called the Bandana.
Just absolutely like King Kong came out of the jungle or something. It's just like, and then it was just instantaneous. I got hit in my back. It felt like right about shoulder blades.
It's your duty to hang around and render aid, even if you didn't cause it. Now, she caused it. But you have a duty to stop, render aid, help, report.
My brain felt like I'd been injected with Novocaine. I don't know how else to describe it. It was just numb. Nothing was making sense.
Dr. Sanderson alleges in his complaint that Paltrow was negligent. After knocking him down, she got up, turned around, and skied away, leaving Sanderson stunned, lying in the snow, and seriously injured.
I'd like to be vindicated. I'd like the truth to be told.
Gwyneth Paltrow has countersued with her own lawsuit, claiming Sanderson hit her. But because her injuries were relatively minor, she's seeking only symbolic damages in the amount of $1, plus costs and attorney fees.
I would continue to encourage the parties to talk about settlement.
The judge and the attorneys have met several times in pretrial conferences to litigate motions, but any agreement to settle the case does not appear imminent.
It's widely known in the community that my middle name is Reasonable. So, Mr. Owens can contact Bob Reasonable Sykes anytime.
The response from Gwyneth Paltrow's attorney.
I have nothing to say.
For now, it looks like Dr. Sanderson and Gwyneth Paltrow will clash again, but this time in a Utah courtroom.
See, he said, she said. There are witnesses, right? There's witnesses. His witnesses seem to be like a friend of his, and her witnesses seem to be people that work for the ski resort who are on the other side. So, you know, this jury's got to figure it out. What exactly happened on the slopes of Deer Valley? Here's again is what they allege Gwyneth Paltrow did. What Ms. Paltrow did that day was knock down Terry Sanderson, pick herself up, dust herself off, and ski off without rendering any help. Meanwhile, Gwyneth in her deposition said, the question was, did Eric ask you, I want to stay here with Gwyneth? No. Would you have done that had he done that? Of course. And instead, he was an authorized Deer Valley person saying, you can go. Correct. So she basically said, yeah, he said, you can go. The ski instructor who worked for Deer Valley said, just go, Gwyneth. So what exactly happened here? How is this going to be figured out by a jury? Let's bring in our think tank. Joining us tonight in Englewood Cliffs, New Jersey, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor Al Wunsch III. Joining us from Stamford, Connecticut, criminal defense attorney Darnell Crossland. And in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, family law attorney Jennifer Brandt. All right, we need to do some disclaimers here. Who has gone skiing? Darnell's the only, oh, Darnell and Jennifer. Al, you've not been on the slopes. Neither have I.
Never.
Neither have I. So let me start. We'll go ladies first. Jennifer Brandt, how do we figure out what happened on the slopes that day?
Well, Vinny, this is a he said, she said, but there are witnesses that obviously saw the collision. I mean, there were people around. It was a beginner slope. It seemed like it was fairly crowded. There were people from Deer Valley who worked there. So there are other people who may have seen what happened. I really can't believe this case is going to trial. I can't believe that these people weren't able to work out some type of settlement. But from Gwyneth's point of view, if she's right, maybe she just says, look, she doesn't want to pay millions of dollars for something that she didn't do. And she's countersuing for a very, very small amount.
If
just
somebody
to prove a
smashed
point.
into me on the slopes, why should I give him money? And he's on the other side with the other story. Darnell, what does your gut tell you about what happened out there?
My gut tells me that somehow this guy found out that was Gwyneth Paltrow and not me that ran into him. Because if I ran into him, we wouldn't even be in court right now. So
you
that's
guys look very similar.
he sees the face.
Darnell would have won.
So, what bothers me here is that even from law school, we know that in order to prove negligence, you have to show duty, breach, causation, harm, and then damages. And that means that Gwyneth Paltrow had a duty to do something. In common parlance, they say duty to make safe or duty to keep a good watch. In this particular case, I think they both had the same duties. You're on a slope, you're not in a car. So I think it's going to be hard to show that she breached some kind of duty that she owed him. It wasn't like she was going 100 miles per hour on a slope that was meant for people to go 20 miles, and then we can say that she breached a duty or she was negligent. But they were just both beginners on a beginner slope, and they ran into each other. What are we talking about here? She doesn't owe him anything. He doesn't owe her anything.
So you're saying it's just an accident? Just an accident?
Just an accident.
Every time there's a car accident, somebody's paying something. It's usually insurance companies, but somebody's always paying. I mean, Al, he claims that he has actually been hurt by this. Broken ribs, concussion, brain damage. You heard him describe his head as being numb at the time.
No. Well, Ben, I'm going to say this. I may not have been on the ski slopes, okay, like our two other distinguished guests here, but I think I'm the only one on this panel that has actually met Gwyneth Paltrow and actually had a interview of Gwyneth Paltrow, or Gwen as I call her. And she's 5'8", 130 pounds, okay? Even with the wind behind her back, she's going to do no damage on anybody when she runs into them. So this is absurd. And the fact that the ski patrol didn't take him back down the hill is proof positive that he could not have been knocked out, concussion, and all of those broken vertebrae and all that other stuff. It makes no sense to me. This is a ridiculous case. My friend Gwen is going to be vindicated, okay? And you know, she was with me when I was doing this book with her, and signed, of course. And so I just got to say that maybe I've never skied before, but I know in my heart Gwen did nothing wrong. But can I say one thing real quick? Can I just say one thing real quick, though? Can I just say Darnell, 1 second? I just want to wish my daughter, Alana, happy 21st birthday today. She's a big fan of the show. And 21st birthday, big deal. And especially for a guy who's only 30. So it's very important that we wish her a happy birthday.
Amazing.
Vinny, I just want to say, you just showed a picture of Gwen and Harvey Weinstein, so that's not going to help her defense.
Well, let me ask you about this now, because she has testified before in another case. She had a stalker. She had to testify there. Not easy to do, so she does have some experience on the witness stand. That particular stalker, I believe, was found not guilty, but by reason of insanity. Darnell, what are your thoughts? Do you think there's a theme here that the doctor can play, that Deer Valley and perhaps some witnesses from Deer Valley are doing all they can do to protect a celebrity?
Yes, obviously, when the instructor or whoever the guy was working said, you know, you can just leave, they typically don't want somebody like her standing around and a crowd starting to ensue. So he probably gave a little preferential treatment. I get it. But this guy is basically claiming a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, and those come with big bucks. And you could, you know, like the guy from the Kaboom commercial who hit his head, soft touch, soft injuries, and he died from it. So he's claiming a TBI, and he's going to claim that he needs tons of money. And so to answer your question, yes, they probably gave us some deference, but I don't think they were doing anything illegal or impermissible.
So isn't this? I'm sorry, Ben, but wasn't the ski, resort let out of the case? I mean, I thought that they were. I mean, what are they going to do if they're not even a defendant in the case? Then, you know, how are you going to be painting that aspect of it as to the fact that they're colluding against her?
Those are going to be the witnesses. The witnesses for her, I believe, are all going to be employees of Deer Valley.
So they have nothing to lose by testifying for her, or nothing to gain, because they're not helping their employer. So there's no skin in the game for them. So of course they're going to tell the truth.
No, Al, what they gain is that Gwen and other muckety mucks will keep using the resort and feel good about the resort. So
that's one of the most famous. It's one of the most famous ski resorts in the country.
Right, I think there's a lot of muckety mucks that go to that resort, so I don't think she's anything so special there. I think there are a lot of people that are famous there, and a lot of very wealthy people that are skiing there. So I disagree with Darnell. I don't think that they were doing anything special to protect her. I think that they were just doing their job. It was probably not a major incident, so they told her, go ahead, we'll sort of take care of this. You know, it wasn't that bad. They didn't take him away in an ambulance or anything like that. And so I don't think it's what he's making it out to be. We'll see.
And what about this duty? What about this duty? Is that she was supposed to stick around and render aid?
No.
What are we in the last episode of Seinfeld?
Well, this is.
I mean, you know, the bystander law that you can't watch this.
The original,
that's ridiculous.
The original allegations were a hit and run, and that part of the lawsuit has been thrown out. Gwyneth was successful there, getting that tossed, the hit and run aspect of it. But now it comes down to this collision and what exactly happened. Jennifer Brandt, do you expect her to be a credible, dramatic witness?
Dramatic, yes, she's an actress, but I also think she will be a credible witness. I think she will go in there and say what happened, and I think she will be very believable because it's probably the truth.
And Al, why don't you think this thing has settled?
It hasn't settled because Gwyneth Paltrow's not looking for anything. Okay, so I mean, she's won $1 in her attorney's fees. So obviously she's going forward on principle, and that's why this case is not settling, because she's doing it for the principle. If she was looking for money out of the deal, I'm sure it would have settled.
Well, she doesn't want any money. She's not going to get. She's not going to get money even if she wins. She gets $1 if she wins.
She doesn't want to pay.
But what I'm saying is that's the principle aspect of it, and that's why it hasn't settled.
No, she's not holding this lawsuit up. It's the other side. It's the demand is too high. They want a TBI type type recovery, and those are really high recovery. So Gwyneth is just countersuing, I think, for a position, not to get any money. And if they pull their lawsuit out, she'll pull her dollar out. So she's not stopping this. They want a high demand. They made a high demand.
All right, let's go around the horn.
She doesn't want to pay it.
The fact that, you know, Gwyneth Paltrow is Gwyneth Paltrow, she's a celebrity, is that a plus or a minus for her? Al?
It's a plus.
Darnell?
Minus.
Jennifer?
I think it's a minus in this lawsuit.
Interesting. Like all of, and you know, I go back in time, you know, when I first started at Court TV, every time a celebrity was on trial, victory for the celebrity. It doesn't matter what was going on, whether it was a DUI or double murder. It just didn't matter. I guess we've seen things turn around a little bit in terms of being sort of the protected class inside a courtroom. But, you know, do you think a Utah jury will be impressed with someone of her stature? Darnell?
No, I think the Utah jury is going to say we lost a day of work today, and we probably going to get $20 from the jury compensation fund. And here's this rich woman sitting here wasting our time. Just cut the check so we can get back to work.
All right, Al, I'm going to give you the last question. Darnell and Jennifer are both going down the bandana ski run. Who wins?
My money's on Jennifer. My money's on Jennifer.
Look at that. We may have to figure this out. Darnell, do you go down the difficult?
Well, when I was in law school, I was in a ski club, and we were in Georgia because I went to Georgia State, but we had to ski up in North Carolina. And so we would leave at 3 in the morning, get on this bus, and go to North Carolina for all places. So we didn't have the Colorado type thing.
Yeah.
We went
Jennifer, where have you skied places a little more ski-worthy than North Carolina?
No, I really hate skiing, Vinny. I've done it, but I really don't like it.
Darnell might win this. All right, all right. They're with us the whole hour, folks. Up next.
In Newport News, Virginia, a 6-year-old brought a gun to school and shot his teacher. She survived, and now prosecutors say there will be no charges against the child. Tonight, we're asking, should anyone else be charged?
I don't know what was going through that child's mind. He's 6 years old. He displayed a firearm, he pointed it, and he fired one round.
This is a case of revenge.
An ice cream man is mugged, beaten, and robbed. Now he stands accused of murder.
He became obsessed with finding who shot him.
Was this a vigilante double homicide, or is it a case of mistaken identity?
The Ice Cream Man murder retrial. Coverage continues weekdays at 8/7 Central on Court Zero.